Alright guys, it's been a few days. We got metal in for the swing arm, so we're gonna keep going on this thing. I'm gonna show you what I already did. Well, a couple things. So we got more metal, and I spent tons of time the other weekend grinding all those tubing notches to fit and everything. So I went and got a Harbor Freight tubing notcher. Got that all bolted on today. I tested it on a piece of scrap. Works way better than I actually expected. Here's a scrap piece that that's the first cut I made with it. So this is not the same size tubing as the swing arm is, but you can see a little bit big. I might get a different notcher bit for that hole saw thing, whatever. That's not the same size, but anyways. Then I went ahead and measured out. I got this angle finder. So what I did was I used this on this rail because the idea I have, this next piece of tubing is gonna go on the top here. So to make it match up here, basically this is gonna have to have a long cut down it and then make the back end match. So now I have my angle, and what I'd like to do is get this pipe on the bench and prop it up at that angle. Like say that's the angle, for instance. If I can prop that up at the angle that I need to cut, then I can take a straight edge. All right, work with me here. Use a good old beer cap. So then I can take a straight edge and just go off the table and mark that angle a straight line, and then I can saw that mostly, and then just grind it to get it to fit in after that, and then I can notch the other end. So that's what I'm gonna try to do. So I already used a straight edge and found my angle and everything. So I'm gonna try to get something set up here to match that angle, and I think a little bit of time doing that will save me a lot of time grinding. So I'm gonna start doing that. I'm solo right now, so I can't hold the camera and work. I'm going to get this set up, and I'll bring it back and show you what I'm doing. So bear with me here. All right, so I'm gonna show you guys what I got going. That same piece I just showed you, I cut it again, and that's propping my bar up. So then what I did was I basically moved it along the angle until it's sitting at the right angle here. You can probably, hopefully you can see on the camera, it's at the right angle. So then what I did, this is 1 1/4 tubing, so I needed to come up 5/8 to be half the diameter of the tubing. So that's a 1/2 inch, and then about half this marker is about an 1/8 inch too. So then what I did is I just put this on the block, and I went along and I traced my straight edge. So now I've got a line all the way around this pipe, except for like right there, I didn't connect it, but you can see my angled line here. And I did both sides without moving that pipe. So next thing I'm gonna do is I'm gonna use the bandsaw and cut that, and then I can start kind of finessing it to get it to fit down on there nice and neat. And then if it all works like I hope it will, then I'll start doing the other pipe. But I'm gonna cut this, and then I'll bring you guys back again. All right, so I kind of got ahead of it. Didn't show you guys the first bar, but I got that all tacked in anyways. But I waited to show you the second one. So ended up trimming all that back. I had a notch right here, you can see that, and then I got that all trimmed in. So I had to notch that middle of the bar because it comes down and hits that thread insert. So if you look here, fits really nice. and these are measured. I put them towards the middle like that just because I think it looks cool. A little bit more design to it than having them parallel over the top of each other. And by moving them in, I got my tabs here. Those are notched, and they're going to be a tube right across this. So by having it shorter right here, that tube, it'll be stronger in theory. So that will get welded on to a tube right there. These are measured and marked so I can tack it. They're parallel with the, or flush with the top of here. So this one is all ready to tack in. So I'm gonna get ready. I'm gonna get this all set and tacked, and then I'm gonna start making some. I'm gonna put a cross brace across here, and then I'm gonna put my shock bracket in. So I'll probably do the shock one, and then I'm gonna need, let's see here. This I made. This is a threaded insert, and this is my brake stay, which is gonna go in here. So that's all gonna have to get. I'll probably put a piece of tube in here, and then insert that into the tube. So we got that to still do. Then I got these little threaded inserts, and what those are gonna be is those are gonna go in the side here, and that's going to bolt our chain guard on right in there. So kind of like everything else, I'm trying to make this to where it accepts as many factory parts as possible. So if I put that brake stay in here, I thread those bungs or weld those bungs in there, then it still takes factory chain slider, it takes factory chain guide back here, it takes your factory bolt for the brake stay. This is all shock geometry linkage is all factory. So a few more parts. The hard part's done now. Those long tubes were definitely the hardest. So I'm gonna get this tacked in, and then I can finally use that that tubing notcher that I showed you guys earlier. So stand by and let me throw some tacks down here. All right, so change of plans here. I'm not gonna tack this in yet. I'm gonna leave that loose, and I'm gonna go ahead and get my pipe cut that sits in here. And the reason is, after looking at this, if I tack this in, I can't drop. If I got the pipe looking like this, right, I can't drop it down in that gap, you know. So what I need to do is I need to get it cut, set it in there, and then I can bring this pipe back over to it and keep it tight, and then tack it all together. So I'll get this piece, not that piece, but I'll get this piece cut first, and then we'll start tacking some stuff back together. So all right, so if you look in here, I put a box around it because this thing throws chips and oil all over, but I had to put a piece of angle iron because my pipe's short, and I already got this thing angled for what I measured to be the angle on that swing arm. So I'll let you guys take a look while I cut this and judge for yourself how this works. I haven't tried this cutter yet. I forgot to tighten that. What an idiot. I can't believe that didn't move. I just took that out. Can't believe that didn't move. Okay. So anyways, fresh out. You saw how quick it is. I think that works pretty damn good. I'm gonna clean this up real quick. Let me see the paper towel. I'll show you here. You watch here. So, there we go. And hopefully, there we go. And by the time it's back here, that looks like it's the right angle and everything. But you can see, look at how nice that. And I'll measure it, but it looks to be pretty square right now. So I'm happy with my angle. So 2.5 from this side is what I gotta make it. So I'm just gonna put a mark on here. So there's my mark. And I just got to get it trimmed up on that side. And then what I should have done was I should have put a center line on this before I made any cuts. That way, when you flip it over, you're parallel on both sides of your cuts, but I forgot. I forgot to tighten the last one, so. We did snug, and let's cut it. So that's probably the easiest piece we've made so far. Now we can see how it actually fits. So, apparently my math is wrong because we're way too far out. I must have measured it wrong. But that's what we're going for right there. But I gotta take more off of this because we're not all the way over yet. So I gotta cut it again. Alright, so I got that piece cut now. Fits good. Everything lines up good. I cut it a little short, so I got some wiggle room to get everything lined up nice, which turned out good. What I'm doing now is I made just some little cardboard beer box spacers. And what I want to do is I want to put some cardboard underneath of this. When we have this powder coated and welded and all that, that's going to be really tight. So I just want to plan on that, and these little cardboard will kind of simulate a layer of powder coat in there. I'm sure some of you guys have done that before. I'm actually going to bolt this and tighten it now. And then I'm going to start tacking stuff together. And also leave in the comments what you think of the design we're going with for the swing arm. If we had more tools like a pipe roller and stuff like that, I would have liked to went a little crazier with it, but we're really making do with what we got. That there. So I'm basically ready to tack. So I'm going to tack this in first, because I got to get this to where it's right there. Try to make sure that that is perfectly to the top of there. Christy's recording. Christy, will you turn on the welder and get me hooked up here? Yep. I got that cord unplugged over there too. That's tacked. And I got a marker line back here, but I just want to double check everything. Get a tack back there. I got a little tack. I'm gonna go grab a piece of filler rod here. Big stuff here. I just want to get a tack up top. There we go. Let's go for one more tack right here. Right like that looks pretty good. So I'm going to try to tack this real quick, just on the tops here. Got stuff tacked together. We got a couple gaps that we got to weld in, but what do you expect when we don't do this every day? I'm not worried about any of them. So we got a couple pieces to make still, but this is basically our shape and everything of the swing arm. So if you get a good side look there, it's gonna have one piece in here. Remember, we got to do the wherever I set that. This right here. This will go in here still. So we got to notch that out and get our brake stay in there. I got to get measurements and everything for that. So that, a crossbar up front inside of here, and that's about it. This video is not going to be done until this thing's powder coated and finished, so we're calling it a day, but we will be back and keep going on this project. So thanks for watching so far. All right, another day. We got some more stuff in here, got some tubing. I just finished grinding, sorry, get back there. I just finished grinding a little support for the brake stay. If you look at this right in there, so I just made this little, it's kind of like a tubing gusset, and that brake stay is right where I need it all measured out and level and everything. So from the outside, that's how it looks. I got that clamped up, so I'm gonna go ahead and tack that in there so it stays before I move it. Christy, you want to record real quick? So we'll let Christy record, and I'll get this tacked in so I can take the clamp off and everything. Probably tip this up on its side and get a tack underneath here. So my plan is to just weld along this around here, weld that all up tight, and that should be plenty sturdy enough. That should stay now. So that's how it'll end up looking. I've got little spacer bolts in there right now. So I want to do like maybe just like a little gusset bar in both sides right there. So I need to get everything in that has to be here, and then we'll see what else we can fit in there and really start just beefing it up. So I'll do this real quick. All right, so I'm working on the back support here. I got my piece of tubing cut. I want to show you how I did this. So I marked a straight line down this pipe, right? This is a coping tool that I made out of TIG welding wire because I'm cheap. So what I do is I use my angle finder to get my angle here, and then I stood this up to get my angle set on. If you see these little pins, they're set at the angle of this. So then I take my straight line that's marked on my pipe, and this is made to fit this size. So then I pull one pin back and I can see my straight line through there. So I slide this in, bring it back just till I'm pretty close to flush, just enough to get a marker line. So then I'm just going to mark my angle. And what that lets me do is now I can pull that out and I can turn it around and use that same line, and they'll come out exactly the same in theory. So there, I got my other side set. And if it doesn't come out exact, at least, you know, you got your angle set, and you can kind of see, hopefully you can see, when I cut those off or grind them down, whatever you want to do, they'll at least be close enough that you can just spend a little bit of the time with the grinder fitting them in, but you don't have to grind everything. It gives you just something to reference and go off of to get started. So I'm gonna grind this and we'll come back when I got it to fit, but hopefully you see that. So let's make this piece, and this is gonna go right in here. All right, so I got the pipe all trimmed to fit in here how I want it. So now I'm just trying to get a clamp on it so I can tap it around and get some measurement. You can kind of see, if you look in here, I got 1/2 inch spacers. So those are keeping me even up front, but now I want to make sure that I'm like level right here, which I can tell I'm not. It real quick while I'm still holding everything. Gas is on?
Yep.
guys. Now, there is our front crossbar. That measurement gives us plenty of room around our pivot tubes and everything. So I think that'll work out sweet. All right, another day here. I've been sitting here for quite a while now, just with a burr bit on a die grinder. And I got the chain slide to fit. So that's on. I had to make those holes through the frame, or through the swing arm, I mean. And now I got these bungs on here that are threaded. So this fits on. And those slip in to where I can square this up now. So I'll square this up, and then I'll tack those bungs on, and then take the chain slide back off, weld them in, and I think that's the last mounting point that we got to put on this sucker. And then we'll do some bracing on it and stuff, and I'll show you guys everything I'm doing there too. But I'm trying to do this and not hold the camera. So far this is what we got. Kind of looks ugly just sitting there with all the shit bolted to it, but we're getting pretty close to getting some welds on it and getting it off that fixtures. All right, I got those a little more than tacked in, but there you can see. That's the setup. So then another thing I'm thinking I want to do as far as like mounting points and stuff is on this side is where the brakes run. So I'm thinking what I want to do is I want to take 2 more of these and put maybe just in the side, straight like this. One here and one maybe here. And that'll just give me a good threaded point to put some brake line clamps on. I'd rather do that than put zip ties or anything around the brake lines, and I think it'd look a little bit more professional if we actually had threaded inserts there. So I think that's what I'm gonna do, is drill a couple holes there and get some brake line mounting points. I got the holes, I marked a center line on the pipe, and then I went ahead and pre-drilled a couple starter holes. So now I'm going to take my step bit and drill those out until these threaded bungs fit in there. So just like that. That step, get my glasses here. That's more gooder. All right guys, so I started welding this dang swing arm. I'll show you what I did. So I kind of just filled that in so far, got both of these welded all the way around. I got a lot of welding left, and then I'm thinking I'm gonna put these little gussets in there. So I got 2 of those ground down because this side's flat, they're made to wrap the pipe. That'd be a little bit of strength there. So what I'm trying to do is get this thing nice and strong so I can take it out of the fixture. And then another thing I want to do is I'm going to take some of this smaller stuff and I'm going to make a couple little pipes to go in here, just for strength and looks. But I'm going to flip this thing over and do this same weld on the other side. So I'm going to try to get the GoPro set up here so hopefully you guys can see what I got going. Put you up here. Hopefully that's good enough. Nice thing about this fixture I got is being small like this, I can kind of flip this thing around even though it's still bolted in. So that gives me a good good angle and like plenty of space, I guess you could say, to get in here and weld all this up So that's what I'm gonna do right now, is this. And I just touched my freaking tungsten with the rod, so I gotta grind this again. But there you can see, getting everything welded in. And I do have a lot of welding left, so I just wanted to get a little bit of video of how I'm welding it. I'm not gonna record the whole time, but I'll do some more welding and bring it back here. Cool. Just little bitty pieces. Those are 3/4 inch, and what I want them for is our shock mounts up here, and I just want something right here to tie the two tubes together. So I'm gonna put them right in line with this on both sides, and weld those suckers in there. And then I think we're actually ready to take that whole swing arm out of the fixture, so we'll unbolt everywhere up front and take it out and just finish weld the crap out of it. And then it's on to bead blast, and I'm gonna make sure it fits back on the four-wheeler first, obviously, but then it's on to bead blast and paint it, and we're pretty well basically done with the fabrication part of that. So I'm gonna get to welding, and then I'll make sure I show taking the whole thing back out of the fixture. All right, I got those little pieces welded in. Boom, boom, and we're ready. I'm taking this sucker out of the fixture, so I'll set you guys right here, and hopefully you can see what I'm doing. Let me tilt you down just a bit more. All right, let's get this sucker out of here finally. There's still a lot more welding to do, but I kind of got to get this out so I can get to it. So I took these two bolts out, I took that shock bolt out, so all that's left should be this one and the one up there. Oh, oh. These are tight. Oh, is it so bad? So this is going to go back with the whole fixture setup here. Set that aside, and we'll turn this thing around now. Alright. This one's always a little bit more tricky to get out. Should only have to take one side off, so let's take this side off. Put those aside, then I got to loosen these up right here. Those are locked onto my piece of haul thread, so it won't come out with those in there. Or with them tight, I should say. Alright, so that should be good. I'm pretty sure I'm gonna have to coming right out. Fairly easy, but I'm gonna punch it. Just gonna use this old screwdriver to kind of punch that out. Oh, there we go. Put all this back together. And then if you remember, it's got these spacers in here too that'll come out once I lift this off. But now this should be able just to lift straight up and off. And I'm pretty sure it's going to be tight. Oh, real tight. Alright, so there's that. There we go. Spacer. Other spacer still in there. Here's this spacer. Then that comes out. This side's out. And so, well, let's get this last little one right here out. This is separated. So there we go. There is our swing arm. And this is super light. I'm gonna put some air to it and get some of the metal shavings out. But let's set this over here. Let's tilt this up. Hopefully you can see. You see there? So this is gonna sit right up in here. And I can already, that's gonna fit perfect. It's actually sitting over the engine right there. So there's what we're looking at. That's gonna be a good looking piece in there. All right, Christy just got done bead blasting the swing arm, picking stuff up over there. So we got it in the oven, all bead blasted. We're gonna do a little pre-bake, like gas it out pretty much, just to make sure that there's no oil on it that we didn't notice. But then we'll be painting. We gotta plug a couple holes with some plugs and tape off some bearing areas, and then we're good to go. So get the oven on here. Maybe. We gotta swap plugs and stuff. Alright, now we'll let this thing heat up. There we go. I would just wait. Let that thing sit in there for about a half an hour while we get all of our powder stuff ready, and then we'll bring it back to start spraying some powder. All right, so we've had this in here probably, what, half an hour at least. So I already turned the oven down to 250. We usually leave it at 250 while we're powder coating, and then we'll put the part after we powder it back in here at 250, and then we'll bring it out and check it for any light spots, and then go back up to 400 and bake it. But it's been sitting in here and it's hot as hell right now, so I got my UV glove. We're gonna take it out and let it cool. So we're gonna let it cool. I'm gonna close this. So if you look here, Christy, if you look, I use little set screws to plug all my holes, and then I take them out afterwards. But we gotta get The bearing surfaces in here have to get taped up. The brake stay holes down here, we're gonna put plugs in. So I just got the powder coating silicone plugs. That we just put in kind of like that. It's way too hot to touch right now. So we're gonna let it cool and we'll get that stuff taped up and then we're gonna start powdering. Alrighty, so this is cooled down. We got paper. I like to use paper to tape some stuff off because it comes off easier. We got the plugs in down here. So it's cooled off to, it's like 150 right now. So I want to hit the hard to get to areas while it's still warm. And I wanted to show you guys my light setup here for powder coating. I made these and we just drape it over. We got another one that links in the middle. These are just all linkable lights. And one of the problems we always have is light. So with these, if you look at the part here, Christy, that gives me a real good view while we're doing powder. So I'm gonna get the gun all set here. Where's the air? Watch your feet. Get this set. Alright, so I'm just gonna get in all the little hard to reach spots real quick. Like inside these little spots are what I have problems with. So I'm just looking for any like inside these bolt holes. Stuff like that. Alright, so it looks like it's almost covered now, but it's most definitely not. But we're gonna let it keep cooling down, and then we'll make sure the whole thing's covered, bake it. So let's let it cool down and we'll come back after we get it painted. Alright, so we got it all painted. You can see it's nice and flat looking, nice coverage, but we got the oven at 250. So I'm gonna put this back in. You can see like me holding it with just rubber gloves, it's not hot anymore. So put this in here. And with it only at 250, it's not gonna like, well, it might gloss, but we're just kind of trying to let it melt down so we can really see any light areas. And we might, since it's a swing arm, we might just give it like a quick hot coat, just real heavy coverage because it's gonna get beat up pretty bad. But we'll come back when we pull that out. So that's been in there a few minutes now. And I want to show you, I'm going to take it out and it's starting to gloss, but you can see like the thinner tubes. It went from like powder to now it's kind of like a matte look. So that's when I like to take it out. And then just real quick, like you know, a lot of people don't like to spray while it's warm. But what I like to do on something like this is get it just to that point and take all the gloss away again, just so it's a nice heavy coat. So what I'll do is I'll turn my air up a bit, not that much, about like that, and I just take all that gloss away just real quick. And that just, I want this nice and heavy painted. And I'll turn it a bit. I wouldn't be so worried about this if it wasn't for like something off-road, but let me get down here good. So that's good. So Christy, if you want to turn the oven back up to like 415. So Christy's cranking the oven back up. All right. So I'm gonna go ahead and put the part back in here. And it does not take the oven more than a couple minutes to heat up to 400. So this will actually be our final bake now. So when this comes back out, we will be done. Good?
Yep.
There we go. Alright guys, so the other night we finished baking that swing arm, and I left it in the oven to cool off just so it could cool without the paint being tacky and any dust. I mean, we're just in the garage here. So it's been a couple days, and now I want to show you guys. This is the finished swing arm. I went ahead and put the brake stay in. Powder coat it all inside since it's going to be open to water and everything. So I don't know about you guys, let me know in the comments. I think it turned out pretty sweet for being the first one that we've ever done. Alright, so it's going to sit on here basically just like this. Alright, once we get some more suspension parts and everything in, it's going to look a lot cooler. But I mean, hopefully that'll show people that go ahead and try, make your own shit if you want to. I mean, you gotta understand though, at the same time, like, that thing's got to be structural. Like, you want that thing to be as strong as possible if you're gonna try to make your own. I mean, just be aware of that. I'm not telling anybody just throw one together and think it's gonna be safe. If you can't weld or anything, don't even freaking try it. But I feel confident enough that I don't think it's gonna break. We'll see. Fuck, maybe it will. But if you guys like it, let me know what you think of this swing arm. Let me know what you think of the build so far. If you watched this far, this is part 2. I decided to make it into 2 parts just because we're getting quite a few videos of this, and I really wanted to show as much as we could. So hopefully you guys watch this far. Share it up with your friends, you know, help us get some subscribers on the channel. You guys like and subscribe if you like it. We got a lot more coming. We're working on this again tonight. But anyways, thanks for watching, and we'll see you in the next video. See you later.